Be it through my Instagram posts, stories, YouTube thumbnails, or just random pictures I want to look back on one day, a film-ish vibes would be my go-to when it comes to its editing style. So, tara! I would be sharing with you guys today how I exactly do those. So I hope you guys will learn a thing or two in this video, and enjoy! So if you guys follow my Instagram, which if you're not doing, then what are you even doing now? I actually set up a story on my Instagram last night asking if you guys would want me to do a tutorial on how I edit like film-inspired photos. However, I do know that nothing could ever beat film, nor could anything come close to it. But if you're working around a tighter budget because of, you know, how expensive film rolls can be, then this could be a pretty much great alternative. So for today, we would be working around with 3 different photos with 3 different vibes. So the first one that we would be doing is this photo of me, which I shot last New Year's. If you guys have watched my New Year's Even Day video, this was kind of like a segment in that video, and so I did not go in depth with the editing. The photo shoot either, I just inserted like the pics all of a sudden. I did not even shoot behind the scenes, but for now I'll be sharing with you guys how I did edit that. So for this one I actually use 2 apps, 3 at most, but for the more simpler ones I usually just use 2. You know what, I should have been in this like light, you know, like that would be like super duper nice, plus, you know, just lower the exposure. However, I just know that I'll be sweating the whole time if I were doing that. That's why, you know, I'm far from the limelight. That's why, you know, I kind of did this lighting. Anyway, enough of me talking about my setting because it's literally just a plain setting. Anyway, the first app that I use is actually the key. It's like the super duper, it's the base. It's the base, y'all. This is such a life changer, this app. So this is the app. It is called Dashcam. So it would just be pressing that one real quick. So as you guys can see, we have here on the bottom right, like camera options to choose from. So the top 3 that I use are mainly, this is the first one, CP to F. The second one is the instant square, which is a Polaroid, and instant C, which I feel like is kind of like also the same with instant square. However, the crop is not square as what the name implies. So basically the instant C is what I use more. However, I just noticed that in instant square it's giving more that Polaroid vibe. So if you're really into that Polaroid vibes, you could just use instant square. So upon clicking the instant C, you would be seeing under it like some stars option also, like the fish eye, the red, like the whole button on the bottommost part. Oh, and also a quick tip, if you guys don't want your photos to export with some borders or like the Polaroid stuff, you can easily just click on this button over here, the rightmost part. You could toggle on the remove border so that there would be no frame of the Polaroid that would be in your photo later on. So that's what I do because I just want to have that like super duper clean Polaroid or film-ish, like it's just been scanned. I don't know, that's just a personal preference, to be honest. Anyway, so beside it there you could see like this glitter shimmer effect. So I actually used that one for my New Year photo just because the foil curtain fringe would have a nice effect with those on. So I just decided to click that one, click the arrow down, and if you guys can see here on the bottom right in the frame, you could see there a lot of options as to what you would want your star or the star to look like, to appear. It actually depends on you, but the one that I use is this first or third. I cannot honestly remember it anymore, but yeah, I'll just be going with the first one instead. And usually for the warmth, I let the app do itself. I just put it in auto. However, for that specific photo, I feel like I added more warmth to it just because I'm into the warm film inspired photos rather than the cool ones. Anyway, upon doing that, I would be clicking again on this arrow down. And on the bottom part, you can see there on the leftmost part as well, I said part too many times in that sentence, you could see a landscape icon with a plus sign. So if you guys could just click on that, you would be heading onto the gallery of your phone, which you'd be getting your photo from, and you just be clicking check. You already have the initial, the base photo that you would be using for the photo. If you guys would want to have a more film inspired photos, make sure to turn your flash on, or if you're under a broad daylight wherein the sunlight is hitting you directly with super exposed, that would work fine as well. And so the next app that we would be using is the Visco app. Yes, it's already 2022, but I still use it. Okay, but what I like to do here on Visco is, of course, first open the photo. And the filter that I do like using here is the 0808, just because I feel like it gives like the most film-ish vibes to the photo, just because the shadows are leaning more into the green side, which is basically kind of like what film is about. I don't know, I'm not that super familiar with film cameras and like the effects, etc., but I feel like they lean more towards the green teal-ish shadows or highlights, so that is why I like using this filter so much. But the intensity though is not always on 12. Sometimes I play around with lower values such as 9, but I feel like I would not go lower than 6, just because whenever I do that, that is when I tend to have like very like little effects, only as compared to what it would be if it were 6 up. I mean the filter 08. So that is it. Thank you for coping with how noisy the external background is. Anyway, the next thing that I would like to do is, if the photo is not that bright, I like to add exposure to have like that more film-ish flash effect. That's why I also decided to add that here. 1.5 would be good. And so the next ones that we would be dealing with is the white balance. So for the temperature, since this is, again, this just depends on your preference, but since this is more on the cooler side, I would be adding lots of warmth, just so that it would be cancelled out, like how cool it is. Plus 1.8 my temperature. I could even go to 0.4 with this one. And on the tint, I would be jogging it, I don't know, whenever I want to like see the immediate like results of how my photo would look like if the tint would be on the grainer or on the more pink-ish side, I put them on the extreme so that I would have like a better vision of what it would look like. Again, as you go on, you could do lots of twitches with this edits, which I super duper like. The last thing that I do is to add some grain if you'd want to. Sometimes I could go all out with the grains, like plus 12. However, for this photo, I would be just fine with just adding 4. I feel like this lacks warmth though, so when that happens, I just edit that manually on the Apple Photos itself. It just looks a lot better now as compared to a while ago where I look more pale and all that. So yeah, that is it for our first photo. Now the dog noises are gone. So we will now be moving on to our second photo, which is a picture of me and my mom that was taken on my January vlog. If you guys haven't watched that one out yet, why? Anyway, so the camera that I would be using for this one is the CT2F. I believe this is a film camera. Again, I'm not that aware, so why am I even trying so hard? Anyway, so for a tip, on the bottom right, we have there 3. I feel like this one is for the random like cliques there. You could add from 10% to 100%. I only ever go for 10, but let's try what the effect would be if we were to use 20. So next to that icon is this timestamp, which you would also be getting to choose which font you'd be using. Personally, I enjoy the one on the rightmost part just because it's giving the most film effect, if I may say so. Anyway, and for the last item, we have here the ratio. I always choose this original ratio where it would directly follow the ratio of the photo that you would be exporting or importing into this app later on. So again, we have here some few options like the star, fisheye effect as well. However, it's only available for the Pro version, which is also fine by me. We also have the Prism Effect, which is giving kind of like rainbow-ish effect. Yeah, personally, I would not be using anything with this one, but let us try what the prism would look like on this photo. And this one, I feel like this is the lightly. Let's go with the middle one just because I don't know what else to pick. Anyway, oh no, this is for the prism. Oh no, yeah, that's how distorted it would be, so I'll just be putting it on the lowest option just because I don't want my photos to be super duper distorted with that prism effect. That's a photo of me and my mom. And ciao, we now have this photo. Oh, see, the light streak is super duper good. So, my camera is blinking at me, I'll just change my battery. Okay, so I am back. Sorry for that quick interruption. Anyway, this is a photo that we ended up with a while ago. So we will now be moving on to Visco for the final touches. So again, I would be using the filter 08 for this one. I like excuse me. Excuse me. I actually like the effect of the full +12 on this one. Again, for the exposure, just bump it up a bit. I would just be toggling around with this white balance. Again, temperature, I'm gonna add a ton of temperature in this one. And for the tint, I feel like I would be blending more onto the greens this time, just for that photo to be like, to get as much green as it can in the best way possible. And for the skin tone, I would be dragging it down to reveal more of the oranges in your skin, if you didn't know that yet. Or I don't know if that just ever works on my face, but if you drag the skin tone down, it will make your face more pinkish. Whereas if you were to slide it on the positive side, it would be yellowish. I feel like this photo is meant to have lots of grains in it, so I would be going with +8. Sometimes I could easily, I would be going to the camera roll again and edit the warmth, just the warmth, and that's it. For my second photo, if you guys would want to add another layer of light leak, you could use this app which is called Cam. Yeah, it's basically just here, you just click on the lights and you'd be having lots of light leak options to choose from, which I super duper like. And for the last photo that we would be talking about for today's video is this photo, which I cannot seem to find the raw photo of anymore. That's why I just be showing this photo real quick. This is from my Halloween post on my Instagram last year. But yeah, to put it quite plainly, the only camera that I used for that one in Tascam is the instant square. Like that effect of like the light streak, the white light streak just happened. It actually looks so realistic. Like whenever you take a photo and of the Polaroid itself, or you just scanned it, this is exactly what it looks like. So I'm pretty much impressed by that feature of Tascam. So the thing that I did is to just adjust the random light leaks into 100%. So the white thing, that's actually the light leak. So that is basically the only thing that I ever did to my photo that time. I did not edit it further on Visco, just Tascam. So I'm just super duper happy about that because it saved me a lot of time. So that wraps up today's tutorial video. If you guys enjoyed this one, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and also comment down other video suggestions that you would like to see me do next. Hopefully I was able to teach you guys in one way or another how I edit or how to achieve that film inspired look or the Polaroid effect on your photos. It's super duper easy with just 2 apps, 3 if you want to add more light leaks using Cam. And yeah, I'll see you guys again next week for another video. This has been Sebastian, and I hope that we can spread love a little more often. I'll see you next week. Stay safe.